We talk some spring football. Jerry has been out and about on the road, driving the Batmobile from campus to campus. Recently stopped at Michigan. First impressions coming off a year that pretty much every Maize and Blue fan would say was disappointing.
First and biggest impression is their roster makeup. Listen to some of these numbers. They signed a class of 16. 7 of the 16 are mid-year transfers that are on campus. And by the way, not to stir up an old argument, but they're all really good, and all but 2 were 4 stars. Not that recruiting ranking means anything, but it means everything. That means this, Stanley: 76 of the 85 scholarship players that'll be there in the fall are at spring practice.
That's an amazing number.
It is an amazing number. And if my math is correct, which is 50-50, that's 89.4% of their grant scholarship athletes are at spring practice. I've never heard a number that big. 8 seniors on the team, 7 true seniors, or 9 seniors on the team, 7 true seniors, 2 redshirt seniors, 1 senior on the entire offensive unit.
And that could hurt them a little bit. That was their struggle last year. You know, how they get their offense to be consistent is very important. So Devin Gardner, even though they're talking about, you know, a quarterback battle, he's their guy going forward. When you look at numbers and how Michigan can get the job done, in particular in the run game, Devin is an important component to that. So for them having such a young team, it's important that he really leads well, and they've got to find a way to run the football this year. That was their Achilles heel last year. It's tough to just throw it all over the place. If you cannot establish the line of scrimmage in this conference, you're going to lose a lot of games.
Well, you know that will be priority number 1 for the new OC. Doug Nussmeier comes in from a program at Alabama that has had success running the football year after year. He wants to smash it. He wants to run it in between the tackles. And this coaching situation has to be one of the biggest question marks heading into the season for the Wolverines.
Well, certainly reorganized offensive staff. Doug Nussmeier is the offensive coordinator. Fred Jackson, who worked for me 100 years ago at Vanderbilt, we talked about what you just said, Rick, that, you know, Fred says that there is an incredible emphasis on running the ball. Now, that doesn't mean that Al Borges and the offensive staff wasn't trying to do it last year, but they have to be able to run the ball. Personnel-wise, here's what I saw. I saw Devin Smith and Derek Green, running backs. I thought they really looked good. Green has lost a lot of weight. Quarterback Devin Gardner is full speed. I know he was banged up some. Shane Morris continues to improve. This Wilton Spat, this freshman, one of the mid-year guys, he is really, really talented. He'll be one of the most talented quarterbacks in the entire conference. Line of scrimmage, as you mentioned, Stanley, young, but they'll be able to control the line of scrimmage on both sides at some point. And then the last thing, Stanley, is Jake Ryan moved from outside linebacker to middle linebacker. I watched some tape on him. It's come to him pretty natural. I don't think anyone's surprised that he's taken to it as well as he has.
He's very athletic, and so it's not an issue of translating what he does on the field. Is he big and tough enough to handle the pounding in the middle? I think he is, and his athleticism will hold well for Michigan there. And let's face it, Coach, you are what you do. And so if there's an emphasis on running the ball, it makes your team tougher, by the way. In practice, when you're pounding more, your team gets tougher. You're used to grinding out short yards. But they're going to have to find some production. When you think about Mr. Green and Smith coming back, 387 yards combined from both of them a year ago. Devin Gardner's the leading rusher. That's an area they're going to have to improve on.
Yeah, and Jake's tough enough and he's smart enough. But, you know, the physical middle linebackers these days, you're seeing mostly spread teams. Right. And so you can get away with a guy physically built like Jake Ryan at middle linebacker.